Hey everyone, this is Daniel from Phone Arena, and today we're running a few popular benchmark tests on the spring flagships like the HTC One M8 and the Samsung Galaxy S5 against last year's finest LG G2, Samsung Galaxy Note 3 and the Google Nexus 5. Let's run quadrant first. The Note 3 finished first, and the G2, S5, HTC One and Nexus 5 finished last. Let's see what we got here. We've got 25,226 on the Galaxy S5, and then the HTC One M8 scored 23,617, followed by the Note 3, which got 22,898 points. Fourth place is taken by the G2, 20,484, and in last place is the Nexus 5 with 8,523. Considering that we have Snapdragon 800 on these three and 801 on these two, the difference is not that significant, especially in the case of the Note 3, which has 3 GB of RAM, and Galaxy S5 and HTC One M8, which have Snapdragon 801 processors but 2 GB of RAM. Okay, next in line is the Antutu. It's a popular benchmark that measures the processor graphics, input-output speeds, and multitasking abilities of the handsets. The 5 handsets are in airplane mode with Wi-Fi on, and all the other apps are switched off. We only have the benchmark app running now. Alright, we got the final scores. Only the HTC One M8 is still running. What we've got is an amazing 36,192 from the Samsung Galaxy S5 with Snapdragon 801 processor. Then we have 31,701 on the LG G2. The Note 3 performed with 29,082 score. And the HTC One just finished taking second place after the Samsung Galaxy S5 with its 34,146 points. And that last is the Nexus 5 with 22,895. So as you can see, there's a pretty big difference between Snapdragon 800 here and the line of Snapdragon 801. 36,000, 34,000, 29,000. LG G2 performed very well here, 31,000 and 22,000 on the Google Nexus 5. The specific part of the Velamo benchmark will test the HTML5 performance of the browser. Okay, here are the somewhat surprising results here. In HTML5 and JavaScript rendering, which show how fast your browser works, we got the LG G2 taking the lead with 2,940 points, followed by the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 with 2,901. And then we got the HTC One M8 in third place with 1,760, followed by the Google Nexus 5, 1,697, and last is the Galaxy S5 with 1,627 point on Velamo's HTML5 browsing benchmark. Next in line is the Basemark OS2 benchmark. This is an interesting one because it's cross-platform, so you can compare Android devices with iOS and Windows Phone ones. Alright, all the handsets finished the Basemark OS2 test. And the overall winner, that's the HTC One M8 with its Snapdragon 801 processor and 2GB of RAM, 1117 overall points. Next in line is the Samsung Galaxy S5, overall got 1045, followed by the Galaxy Note 3, 1028, then the Google Nexus 5 with 912, and for some reason the G2 scored very low at 628. When it comes to the graphics, however, the HTC One M8 takes the top spot, followed by the Note 3, Samsung Galaxy S5, Nexus 5 and the G2. In terms of memory performance, the first is the Note 3, which scored 522 with its 3GB of RAM, followed by the HTC One M8, the Galaxy S5 460 and the HTC One M8 396. The overall performance, as you can see, is largely device dependent, even though we have Snapdragon 800 processors here and 801 here. The Note 3, for example, performed very, very well, almost on par with these two newer devices. Okay, we're gonna run a purely graphics test now. GFX Bench, T-Rex, 1080p on and off screen. Okay, we got the final results here. The GFX Bench test crashed on the G2, so we had to restart it. But overall, the results are 1571 points of the T-Rex off-screen test from the HTC One M8. It is the first one. Then we got the Samsung Galaxy S5 in second place with 1541 points, followed by the Samsung Galaxy Note 3, 1466. The Nexus 5 in fourth place, 1289, and the G2 couldn't really finish the test properly, so it had to be restarted, and it scored 1191 on the second run. As you can see, these 5 handsets scored pretty close to each other, with the exception of the Nexus 5. And when it comes to graphics, however, we've got the HTC One M8 and Galaxy S5 taking the lead, because the Adreno 330 GPU is clocked much higher than in Snapdragon 800 here in these 3 handsets on the right. This was a video benchmark comparison of the HTC One M8, Galaxy S5, LG G2, Samsung Galaxy Note 3 and Google Nexus 5 from Phone Arena. For more information about these and other handsets, you can visit us at phonearena.com. Thanks for watching.